Welcome to episode number 18 of The Roar, the show for all things Hershey Cubs, players, coaches, personnel, and news. I'm Joshua Gerhart, your host and broadcaster for the Cubs. Joining us today are Cubs forwards Zachary Ruffenach and Bryce K. Thank you for joining us today, fellas. And how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's good to have you guys on. You guys been having a great season so far. The Cubs are doing great. Now, before we kind of get into this podcast episode, can you all provide the listeners with some background knowledge on your career prior to joining the Cubs? And you guys, before we jump onto the episode, you both actually played together on the same team prior to joining the Cubs. So talk to us a little bit about that. I'll have Bryce start us off here then.
Well, of course, you guys know me. I'm Bryce K. I mean, I do hockey and content. I'm on TikTok with almost 80,000 followers combined on all social media, but almost 70,000 on TikTok. I love making content along with playing junior hockey. This is my second year playing junior hockey now, but my first in the USPHL. It's been a fun ride so far, and I've been motivated to do a lot better. And I've been, obviously my hockey career, I've started late. But now, I mean, I've taken hockey seriously for the past year now, and it's been pretty fun. So
Awesome.
this is
Rufy,
my career, and I love doing it.
take it away, Rufy.
Oh, my turn. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just playing youth hockey for a while. Trying to always had the dream of playing juniors, going to college, and ended up finally coming over to the Philadelphia Little Flyers last year. Got the chance there, and had a great season. So took that, and then Cubs reached out to me, wanted me to come here, and everything just kind of came in place. So I was like, definitely want to come. So I'm
Yeah.
happy I did. It's great.
Yeah, and then you mentioned you were teammates before. Is that at Philadelphia Little Flyers, or where did you
Yep,
guys play together at?
Yeah.
we played
No, it was
beloved together.
yeah, Little Flyers. No, it was great. Bryce only came for the last what was 2 months of the season.
Oh, were you a
Yeah,
latecomer here?
yeah, I joined late. I got an offer. I was originally playing A hockey for the Grundy Senators for 18U. Then in middle January, I got an offer from the Little Flyers. They reached out to me, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm taking this
You got
offer.
yeah, you got to jump on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Now,
obviously from the A hockey transition to juniors, it's been pretty tough for me. And my dad even was like the same way. Like, I don't think you can even do this level. I don't think you're even ready for it. And I'll tell you what, I was ready for it. But
you
I took a
know,
lot of time to get used to it, and I'm fine with it.
one thing I always love from you, Bryce, is your mantra, right? Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong, prove them wrong time after time again. And you've done
Yeah,
that, right? So
yeah.
what does that mean to you, right? Prove them wrong. Where did that come from? And to you, what does that mean?
Well, obviously, with being on social media and then being social media in general comes with a lot of responsibility. And of course, part of that is having to deal with people hating on you. You have a lot of haters. It is what it is. I mean, you're never gonna not bump into someone in life that either is jealous of you or doesn't like what you're doing and doesn't respect it or acknowledge it. And that's where I've been at. And people just doubt me and don't understand why I'm here right now in the juniors. People are jealous of me and my family, and people just don't take me serious. And so obviously that's where the coming to prove them wrong it comes in. And I'm like, if people want to keep doubting me, people want to say a bunch of stuff every day, every time I post a video, there'll be these people just saying these crazy comments about you suck, dude, you should hang him up. It won't ever get to me in a bad way, but it'll get me fueling. So it'll get me more motivated to do better and push through it. And that's where I take game by game serious and keep pushing forward to prove people wrong. That's where I'm at.
Absolutely. Now, Rufy, I know you're not the TikTok star and the sensation that Bryce K is when it comes to social media, but with that being said, I mean, does the same kind of saying prove to you as well? Prove them wrong, prove the doubters wrong. How does that resonate for you in your life and your playing career?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of been something that's always come up throughout my playing career. I never played AAA hockey, barely played AA hockey,
Wow.
and people always just said you're not going to play at that level, but you got to push forward, be motivated, and believe in yourself. And that's what I always had belief with my dad too. My brothers, they always pushed me to go further, and here I am. So
Yeah.
definitely,
You both are fantastic players. So with that being said, I think this is a question that people have been asking for a while. Do you think people who necessarily play AAA are better than people that play like double A or single A? Or do you think it's just, people that might be able to get those AAA opportunities? I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, Bryce, your take on that?
I mean, honestly, to be real with where that is, I mean, obviously the levels people like the AAA, double and A. Like I just think in general, like you play where you're at, and you like if you're confident to play like higher levels, and you're go for it. I mean, but like obviously AAA is pretty up there compared to A and double A, but it's all just like about how you are as a hockey player and how much you're taking it serious, to be honest.
Yeah, Rufy, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to play triple A, double A. I mean, look at me and Bryce. If anyone's out there watching, like you can do it. You can get to the high levels. And, I think a lot of it's political. Somebody helps you get in, but never, never stopped me. And here I am. So,
Yeah, I mean, here's the funny
Yeah, there
thing,
you
right,
go.
guys? Believe it or not, I never played outside of house hockey. I'm a
Hey,
I'm a house hockey guy all my life because here's the thing, I wasn't able to commit to the travel, right? The travel was a lot and I was a busy kid and I wanted my free time with friends. I didn't want to, have travel hockey consume my life. So for me playing house, I was still able to commit and play college hockey here at Millersville, which is ACHA D3. So, I mean, yeah, you guys are right. To all the kids out there that are currently trying to navigate the AAA, double A, or house hockey, I mean, no shame on house hockey there. Love house hockey kids. But yeah, it doesn't really matter where you play. It just matters about you. You gotta do you and you gotta be you. Don't worry about the outside noise.
exactly.
Block it all out and just excel at the level you're playing at and just be the best
yeah.
version of you.
Yeah,
So
it's about the commitment, how much you want to like take it seriously, and that's obviously when I was playing a hockey last couple years ago and last season when I first started, I wasn't really taking it serious, but now when I got the junior offer, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm taking it serious now. But also, most of me having to take hockey seriously not was only because I wanted to have more fun with it and learn the sport better and get better at it. It also had to do with being on TikTok when my
yeah,
fame started taking off. Like when I was becoming more famous, it started my TikTok account exploded with growth, and I was like, yeah, I mean, people are gonna. I knew people were gonna look at what I'm doing, and I wanted to have like a good first impression. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. That's why I need to work my way up there, and that's
absolutely.
yeah.
So you guys talk about getting the offer from the Cubs, right? How did that come about, right? How did that offer land on your table? What did you guys do? What was the process? What do you remember it? What was your feeling when you saw that offer from the Cubs come across your desk? Were you excited? Were you nervous? What was it like? Talk us through it, Rufy.
So I was actually reached out to by Coach Brady.
Mm,
He just sent me an email, kind of told him they saw me or told me they saw me and play last year and stuff. And that was when I was with the Little Flyers, and I had a really good year. I was led my team in points. But yeah, I remember my dad was saying like, you should go try and play in the USPHL and stuff. And I was like, I don't know, like, am I good enough to go there? Like, I didn't really know what the USPHL was at the time. And uh, I was actually gonna go to a combine, I think in Chicago, but and then like it was like the week before, or 2 weeks before that, I got an email from Brady offering me a contract, basically, like straight up. And I was like, wow, like, and I told my dad, and he was like, really? And he was like, see, and you were so worried about not being able to play at this level and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know, but no, I was definitely like really excited right away. But you know, throughout the summer, like coming up to tryouts, I mean, that I was already signed, but I was nervous and coming into training camp nervous, but it was the greatest decision I've made.
I was gonna ask you, so it sounds like throughout the majority of your career, your dad's been kind of one of your biggest, motivators and your biggest factors. What has his support meant to you throughout your career so far?
Oh, it means the world. Like, you have no idea. Like I have 4 brothers, and he's done that for all of them. And it's he's just always there, driving me to games, practices. He comes out to practices now, and he'll be the
Wait,
only one sitting in the
what?
arena. Yeah, like
Yeah,
every
that's
now
all
and
there.
then
That's all there
he can
today.
get up, doesn't
Huh.
have work. Yeah, he was there, I think yesterday. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
he's
Wow.
always coming out supporting. He was trying to come out this weekend, but airfare wasn't cheap, so and driving up isn't cheap either with gas. So, but no,
No.
he's always there, and he's always been great, and I love him so much.
That's amazing. Bryce, so talk about the offer you got from the Cubs. How did it pan out? What were tryouts like for you? Talk us through that process.
So basically, it wasn't such a great off season for me in terms of like the offers, and I actually struggled to actually make a team at the
Mm.
time. I did try out for the little Flyers again, and after the season ended in like late March, April, I didn't hear anything back from them. I probably means I got cut or something, but anyways, I'm past that now. I tried out for the PA Huntsman, I
Yeah,
tried
yeah,
like a last minute kind of like I did some I'd ID skate with them or a little bit of a clinic with them, and the coach was so nice. I love the Huntsman coach. He's a really nice coach. And plus, he liked how I played my hockey, like how I played in my game, and he said that the roster for forwards is pretty darn full, and I was like, oh, but also the defense wasn't really as full, but the defense, both the premier team for EHLP and the EHL elite team,
mhm.
they have an EHL team now, the Huntsmen this year, and they've been both pretty packed up. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll try somewhere else. Um, I actually did do the pre-draft and Chowder Cup tournaments in Boston, as people have seen and maybe have seen too. Um,
Absolutely.
I put up pretty darn good points with the Florida Eels.
Oh, wow.
I played for the Florida Eels team, and I did get an offer from the Florida Eels team for a contract. I got like to sign with the Premier team, the USPHL Premier team, and
Wow.
unfortunately, I would love to move to Florida and like do that. But the thing is, I'm still a senior in high school, so I'm kind of close here, from Hershey.
You
I'm
didn't
only
wanna
two
move too
hours.
far away.
Yeah, I had to either. I mean, obviously, since I'm doing all my schooling, I do attend some days in person because I'm only like here. We're here for an hour 20 from Philly in Hershey, and I have to like be able to commit with school, and I'm graduating this year, so it's a lot on my plate. But
Yeah.
that's how it is. And then so I was gonna like sign with them, but like unfortunately I couldn't. But they were really nice with the offer, and I'm thankful I got with them about it. And unfortunately, I had to politely decline for for this season. But I did also try out for like the Mercer Chiefs AAA team,
Okay.
and obviously not that far from Mercer because I'm like live in South Jersey, like Voorhees, and it's like maybe like 45 minutes from there up north. And I didn't also hear back from anything from them either. So I was like, all right, what's going on here? I've been obviously for the off season, I was training so hard with my coach out to Matt Johnson with MJ2 Hockey, and I've been training my ass off with him. And I, been trying so hard to get one of these offers. And late July, my dad was like talking to Bruce about like Toby and like stuff like that, and that's basically how it came along with that. Me making the team, my dad knew with Bruce and had his number and stuff like that, and and I and him were like talking like, hey, let's see. My dad was like, we need to find like a team for him, and hopefully it's possible that he can, try and either try out or skate or do something to try and see if he can make get a contract with the Cubs. And unfortunately, I didn't like have it was too late for tryouts, obviously,
Yeah.
and we were trying to find a last minute call. And of course, I showed Bruce my highlights, from last season. Even though I scored a goal and assist, but still, I mean, it's a lot of hard work. But I've been trying, and we actually met up with Bruce, Crystal, and we went to their house in the summertime, and a couple of days before I got the contract, and we talked, and a lot of talk about the team and how it's going to be, and basically a brief summary of how it is this season and what's there for me. And I did go after that. We drove to the Hershey Park Arena my first visit. And of course, you see my the TikTok. When I visited the rink for the first time, I was looking around. I was like, "This is pretty cool. I mean, I love what's going on here." And so that's when I was like making the decision because we were like, I think me and my dad were like thinking that Bruce was probably gonna give me a contract because he loves what I'm doing, and then we talked about the content stuff and how you know it's been some sort of not really an issue with my other teams like Roofy knows with Below Fires. Obviously, they're more strict with me making the videos, but I told Bruce like, and he loves the content even though he's not more mostly a social media kind of guy, which I respect, and I highly respect that, and I got an offer from the team. I got the contract and I signed on July 29th, printed my name, done. I'm here and I'm ready to roll. And, I was a little bit nervous going to the USPHL premiere because it's, way, way more intense, in my opinion, than the HLP. I mean, that didn't really feel like that much intense, anyways. But this is a big step for me, a big milestone, and a big opportunity that I took. And, that's how basically it happened. So
Real
it's been
quickly
fun.
here, what impact has your family and especially your father, you talked about him a lot. had on your career so far? I mean, what is his motivation and his dedication to you meant to you so far this season?
Well, my dad, obviously a lot of people know he's a CEO of Scrub Daddy,
Yeah.
and um,
I'm sure everyone
so
aware is
yeah,
the scrub
yeah.
daddy chain around his neck dripped out. Love it.
Oh yeah,
Love
I
it.
love it. I love it, and he's been putting a great career with his success with
Mhm.
the sponge company and cleaning products, and with that, with the amount of not stress, but like amount of like intense work he has to deal with because he's running a huge company, and a lot of work he has to do, a lot of employees to make sure that he takes care of, you know and of course there's that, and then there's my family and I, that he has to take care of, and my dad loves me with all his heart, and it has been so. I'm very very thankful that he's by my side no matter what, through adversity, through jealousy that people just don't like I said earlier in the podcast, like people just don't seem to acknowledge and respect how much hard work we put into our lives. And unfortunately, that happens to be a general thing with people and that are more successful and than others, but people tend to get jealous about it. And obviously for some advice for those people, start working hard, and you never know where you'll end up, and you take your opportunities to become successful, and don't listen to haters, don't listen to those people.
I love that.
um yeah, and so he goes to all my practice, he goes to all my games, and of course, when I don't have my cameraman with me, when I didn't have, shout out to my boy Tyler, he comes to the Hershey Cubs games. Tyler Heist, he does great videography. When he hasn't been able to come to the games, my dad would film me every single game, no matter what. He would take his phone out and be like, "Here you go." So he just loves me, just is here for me. He's a great supporter, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without him today. And it's just so I'm so thankful for him being by my side. And my life hasn't been the greatest. I've been picked on a lot, despite my mental problems. I have ADHD and Tourette's, and it's been hard for people to understand me. And people think I'm different. I act different. I might be socially awkward, but yeah, they might be right. But also at the same time, it's not going to affect me, and I just want to be me. And when you're being yourself, then that's what matters most. And you love yourself and you love who you are. That's just where it's at. And my dad loves me. So, and I
Shout
love him
out to
back.
your dad for all the support and the family that, your family just getting behind you. But, I heard you say different, with suffering with ADHD and Tourette's. I
Mhm.
just want to say that, being different is okay. I mean, being
Yeah, exactly,
different
exactly.
I am far from, I guess you could say, quote unquote, normal. All my life, I've had autism. And I'm sure you guys have seen throughout the rink. I have this little bag that helps feed me, and it'll occasionally beep. But yeah, I think when people kind of cast you aside and, you know, say that you're different, it builds this fire in you and it makes you want everything more. And it
Exactly.
pushes you harder to be who you are. And I think today I wouldn't be who I am if it wouldn't be for all the people that told me I was different. So shout out to all
Same
those,
here, same here.
shout out to all the doubters, man. But now
Exactly.
I see behind you, you have that TOVI hockey stick. The TOVI hockey stick is used by both you and Roofy for the
Oh
nine
yeah.
goals you both have scored this year. So I want to get Roofy's take on this first. Roofy, what is your thought on the TOVI hockey stick? I know a lot of people are doubters on it. Kind of, can you prove those doubters wrong? Talk to me about the TOVI stick.
Yeah, obviously, before I even knew Bryce, I'd known him on TikTok and seeing him use it and stuff, and then, him coming to the Little Flyers, meeting them and being like, "Whoa, he really uses this, what is this? Like, this thing's crazy,"
That's
and
everyone's
I
typical
didn't get
first
the chance to
impression.
use it. What's that?
Sorry to interrupt, but everyone's first impression is like, what the heck is that thing? Like, what
Yeah,
is the point of it? Wait, what is this
yeah.
weird stick, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a little unique and it's cool, but that luckily got the chance to use it. We each got one from Bryce's dad. He provided us a stick this year. And I gotta say I don't hate it. Like I thought I was gonna be like, oh, this thing sucks. And I know a lot of guys thought that somewhat, but
Yeah,
no, I liked it and I still like my normal stick a lot, but I broke my sticks and I had to use it, but it was no problem. I liked it a lot still. I was able to put a puck in the net during a game. So no, yeah, I actually like it a lot. It's unique and I hope it grows more and more.
Now, Bryce,
and
I know you're a
you
big
spray
fan of the
painted your
TOVI.
stick white too. Sorry to interrupt again, but
No, I
Rufy
was gonna
spray.
say,
I gave the team like white spray paint to white out the stick, and Rufy and a few other guys tried it out, and Rufy's been using it in the games as you guys can see, as you guys saw, and it's pretty cool.
Now, Bryce, I know your dad obviously has some stake in the company, but from you personally, what do you like most about the stick? What does it improve most about your game?
Well, the first thing I want to say is like the question I would like be like is how I got the stick, is
Mhm.
how it was even brought to my attention, you know. So like this was in like 2018 or 2019. They were such like a underrated company, and they still are today. Because it's not so common that people are obviously using Tobies at the moment because it's so like the technology in the stick is like very high tech, and it's like the aerodynamics with it is just people just think it might be either really helpful shot taking shots with it or stick handling with it or using it in general or just really weird and like I don't want this piece of you know. So so in 2018 it's 2019 I was like you know my dad was like reaching out to Tovi. It wasn't actually called Tovi at first. It was Carbon Sports Diamond Airblade. That was
Oh,
the
wow.
prototype company, and it was like they had like a white stick with like the logo being like a stick figure character, and it was like a running stick figure character that had like nothing with hockey related. It was like weird, you know. And the stick had holes in it. The purpose of it was that was still the purpose of it, you know. And my dad was like, "Hey, I'm trying to see about this company and you know maybe investing in it because I know you love to play hockey and I think it'd be such a cool idea for you know that to happen." And I was like, my dad was like, "You want to try to stick out?" I'm like, Sure." I mean, my first impression, even my first impression was like, "Yeah, I don't know what this is gonna be weird." And my dad also mentioned on this same kind of story that I'm telling now, but on his perspective on Nasty Knuckles podcast, um, said the same said the same thing. And with that, he was like, how I tried out the stick one day in practice. I actually didn't really like the feel at first because obviously it was a prototype. It felt really awkward. The sticks nowadays are very light and they're very aerodynamic and it helps a lot. Um, so I didn't really like the feel of it, but when I took shots with it, I was like, "Holy smokes, this is coming off my stick really quick." Because you know I love to take slap shots, and before I used Toby stick, the puck would dribble down the rink, as my dad would say, quote unquote. The puck would just dribble. He wouldn't even have any error in the shot. Thanks to Toby, that all changed. So I just cranking slap shots, practicing every day on the court and on during practice when I was playing for Flyers Youth back in travel. And I love the stick. It came off my stick so fast, the puck, you know, and it was so like it was wicked. The shot was insane. And the goalies couldn't even stop it. I was like, all right, I'm trying this thing out in the game. And that's where it happened. The first shift that I went into playing that game with that stick, I scored a top shelf on like I wouldn't say a breakaway, but it was like a rush, and I just slap shot that thing. I don't have video of it. I wish I did, but it was so long ago. I wasn't really making content like that back then. And I just it slap shot and top shelf, and it was an insane goal. And I was like, you know what? This thing's pretty great. I'm gonna keep using this thing. And I was like, it was at to a point where I was like, I'm never switching back to those normal sticks with the foam composite, you know. I was like, yeah, this is the blades with Tovi are 100% solid carbon fiber throughout the entire blade, and it's lighter than normal sticks. And because it's 100% solid carbon fiber, it may be a little bit different with the feel, of course, with the puck stick handling and like shooting. People think it sounds really different, and of course it does because the foam in the normal stick blades it sounds really weird. And of course, it may sound weirder with Toby, but like it's better, you know, it's way better. And of course, since then, I've been using Toby my whole entire time, and I haven't switched back. Fun fact, I haven't switched back to a normal stick since 2019. So I've been always, and then now I'm an ambassador with Toby. I promote it with like social media, and I just use it everywhere and anywhere. And I post about it, and I'm working for them now, you know?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those skeptical guys at first, right? So I think the first time I tried it out was before a game, and I saw you on the. I think I came over to Roofy actually at first. I came over to Roofy at first because I think Roofy was messing with the water bottles on the bench, and I think his Toby stick was right beside him. And I look at him and I go, hey, he goes, all right. Like, do you mind if I try this out and just see what it's got underneath? Like, I'm gonna see what all the hype's about. And he's like, yeah, sure, just don't fall over. I'm like, all right, yeah, because I was in my full suit or everything,
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, so I
I
come
saw you
out
using it.
and I asked you to give me a puck, and I'm like, you're like, all right, I got you. So I took one shot and roofed it almost bar down. And I'm not gonna lie, I looked over at you and I was like, Bryce, like this feels really good. Like, and before that, like I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like I love my Bowers. I mean, I guess you could say I love the big three, right? The Bowers, the Warriors, the CCMs. So
Yeah.
those were kind of my go-to before I tried Tovi out. And like I tried Tovi out, I'm like, wow, like this feels almost equivalent to like the Geo, which is like one of the top sticks I had at the time. So it's like my standard of comparison. So I was like, this feels fantastic. It feels good in my hands. The puck handling was great. It just is a really good overall stick. Like, so shout out to Tovi, the innovative hockey
Oh
company
yeah.
on this episode, getting the Cubs right on the scoreboard this season. It's Tovi. But one thing I want to talk to you guys about as well is an interesting question. So, and obviously I want you guys to keep this one clean, right? So keep this one
Yeah.
but on the team, in your eyes, who do you think has the best chirps? Who's the best chirper? We'll start with Rufy on this
Oh.
one.
Ooh, I don't know. That's tough. There's a lot of guys like to talk on the ice. I'm
Oh yeah.
every now and then I'll get in there, but I'm
You're
not a
you're a
huge
chirper
talker.
too?
Well, every now and then you got to throw one out, especially if the guy's doing good, of course.
Yeah.
But no, I know Marco. He chirps a lot.
I was
He's
just
just
gonna
yelling at guys.
say.
But I've heard some unique ones from Will McKetty.
Well,
He
if you
said
could
some
share
funny
them
ones.
without us getting canceled, that'd be great.
I'm trying to remember some. I know I've just been on the bench and he says something and I'll just like die laughing. I'm trying to think of one. He said
Well,
something in the Wilkes-Barre game and I
oh,
can't
did
remember
he?
what it was.
Oh,
What's
that
that?
is. Do any of the guys chirp in French at all? I'm just curious.
A little bit. I think when we played Gatineau especially,
Yeah, I was
because
gonna
they're
say
all
that
French
they're probably
Canadian
gonna do it
guys.
again against Gano.
Oh yeah, coming up
That's
this
awesome.
weekend.
So Bryce,
The Gano team will be able to understand that.
were you gonna say Tafo as well?
Yeah, I mean, when I was scratched against the Wilkes-Barre game, and I've been like a few times when I was scratched, when I saw Marco playing, I can hear him from across the ice go screaming at one of the Wilkes-Barre kids. Like it's funny, you know. Of course, like Rufy said, you gotta throw a chirp here and there. But I had to throw a chirp, and I was mic'd up one game against the Brooklyn Aviators, and of course, one of the kids said, "Go make another TikTok and cry about it." And like kept, you probably seen the video. He kept shoving me in front of the net, trying to torture me. Like he just purposely cross-checking my back. And then I just kept laughing at it. Like if you saw me in the video, I was like smirking. And as soon as he said, "Go make another TikTok and cry about it," because they only have one win, I was like, "Sorry, you have one win, buddy." And then he's like, he thinks he's him by saying "womp womp," or cool. He thinks he's cool by saying that. And I was like, "All right, dude, that's just it. All right."
Speaking of Brooklyn, I want you guys to walk us through that moment, right? When you scored your first USPHL goal. What was the feeling like? What were the vibes on the bench? I know, Bryce, I know you're gonna have a lot to say about this. So we'll start with
Oh
Rufy.
yeah.
Rufy, what was that feeling like? What were the emotions running through your head when you finally put one in the back of the cage?
Oh, it was great. Mine was my second game of the year, in Elmira, and
Yeah.
you know, I remember like the year before the Little Flyers, I scored in the first game, first goal of the
Mm.
season, and that was cool. And I was hoping
Great
like
debut.
do it again next year, but I was like, I don't really care that much. I want the team to win, and it was a good play by Will McKetty. He drove the net, got a rebound off the pad, and I just was able to put it in off the rebound. So I know it was really exciting. Sallied hard with the boys. But,
I was gonna ask, do you
it was
still have the
great.
puck on display?
I do. You want me to get it? See
I
where it
do,
is?
I do. We gotta see this piece of history right here. Cubs piece of history.
I have mine right there.
I was gonna
I
say,
have
do
a
you have
whole, I have
yours
a
too?
whole.
Go
You
grab
probably
yours.
see my.
Go grab yours. We
I
gotta
have a
see
whole. I have a whole puck shelf. Let me go get it.
it.
I have a
Guys,
whole entire shelf with my
first goal.
milestone pucks.
Oh, dude, that's all there. Oh, and you got the Almara logo on it. Look at that.
Yeah, official
Little
USPHL
One of
game
one of
puck.
these.
Pretty
I have
cool.
three, of course. Here, one of these don't even really count because they our team was just doing it for fun because it was a fun game. It was that scrimmage,
Oh,
against
yeah, 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 yeah.
the white black scrimmage in the before that like prep game.
Yes, yes.
to get prepared, and I scored apparently the game-winning goal. And Rufy was on that shift, and like
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
just selling
awesome.
for fun because it's for the content, not always for the content, but like I just always have a habit of going crazy and selling. So this was that puck. It
There
was
it is.
eight. Oh, can you see it?
There,
I
there
might
it
be
is.
in the
There it is.
camera.
There it is.
Is.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at that. Look at that thing. That's awesome. Did you handwrite that, or is that Brady who wrote them on them?
I think pretty sure Brady or someone did.
Yeah.
This was my first Little Flyers goal
There it is.
in the play-in tournament
Oh
almost a year
wow.
ago. Yeah, I scored a sniper, if you remember that, on the bench, like you saw
That was
that.
awesome.
And I sniped, like I got right. I came right off the bench on the shift and just took the puck and just turned and fired it, flinged it toward the net, and it just went. I don't think it was. It might have been bar down, but not because I wasn't sure. My dad kept singing it's bar down, but it was like right top shelf on top right, right
That's
past the
sick.
goalie. And
That's sick.
I hit it like a celly, and then I was doing
What's your go-to seller? Are you an Archer type guy or what?
yeah, mostly like Archer. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my favorite celly.
Roofie, what's your go-to real quick?
Yeah, I'd say the Archer too. You
The Archer,
get
you
down
like
on
to
one
grab
knee
the
and
arrow
Yeah,
hit
and
it.
it's a hype one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
and
a plan
after
for
you go, just
my next
show the
celly I'm gonna
arm.
do. I'm gonna do the Archer, and then once I do that, I'm gonna pump up the arm and go, "Let's
you know,
go!" and let the crowd know.
I'm gonna make a bet with both of you here. All right. The first one of you to score next goal, I want to see you guys hit the nastiest gritty.
Oh man,
Oh
I
yeah.
did that before. I did that a year ago or 2 years ago. I did that in a
I
game.
would okay, so the next goal you guys score, if it's I'll be watching on Flow Hockey. I'll be watching on Flow Hockey while I'm away with Millersville this weekend at the conference championship. I want to see one of you net it in and then hit that nasty gritty, get the little shoe wipe going on, get it
For
going.
you, fine. I got
Yeah,
you. I got you.
get it going. All right. I
I
want to
Hopefully,
got
I
you.
remember. That'd be
I did
great.
hit a gritty. Yeah.
That's awesome. But Bryce, talk us through that goal you had against Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
End of your shift towards the end of the game. Beautiful, beautiful top shelf nip. It was gorgeous. The place went freaking
I
nuts.
know. It was pandemonium in Hershey Park Arena,
It
right?
was. It was a
Um.
absolute frenzy in the old barn. I
Oh
was
yeah.
lucky enough to have the call on that one,
Oh, that
and
was the best. And
I don't
you told me for that game. I remember like if you scored today, I'm having a big call for them.
Dude, I told you. I like if you're gonna score, I'm gonna go crazy. I remember talking to Roofy
Heck
before
yeah.
too. I'm like, Roofy, I really hope he scores today. And Roofy's like, I
Yeah,
think today's the day. I think it's gonna happen. And it did.
yeah.
And I went
It happened.
nuts.
So here's a story about that goal, right? For the Little Flyers goal, it was like a 2-2 game, and I was the tiebreaker to make it 3-2. And towards the second period, that's when I scored like 9 minutes left, second period. Um, I hit a crazy Archer cell, and I was so excited that I scored my first junior goal. I was like, "Let's go!" Yes, I was going, I was like screaming, I was screaming so loud, like, "Let's go!" And it was hype game, and my dad was going so nuts too. He was crying joy, and he's just filming that, but he's so excited when he was filming that goal from that end. Well, there's Hockey TV, with now Flow Hockey. He was filming the goal, and he's like that, and he's like, he's got it. If you hear in the video, he said when the crowd was going crazy before I scored, he's like, he's got that goal. And then as soon as yeah, like dude is going nuts. Like you can hear him screaming so loud for my goal. It was so
That's
crazy.
awesome.
That's how you know my dad is the real one and he supports me, like we were talking about before earlier.
Mhm.
Um, of course, you know how I sell it hard in that one. This one, unfortunately, not so much. And the
You're
reason,
just like, I'm here. I
yeah,
have arrived.
no, that Sally, when I was like that, I was like, yeah, it was not like it was cool. It was just like a chill Sally. Like the Sally that I was trying to express was like, I did it. I told you guys I do it. Like I proved them wrong. I'm like, yeah, here we go. I told y'all. I told y'all.
Dude,
Kind of
and
like that.
that's exactly the message it communicated too. It was so perfect.
It's
You
like
look like
told y'all.
dude, you look like it was the cover of the Evan Almighty film. Just
Yeah.
arms stretched out. You're just
I was like,
right there. You're like, I am here,
I was
and
like,
I
keep doubting
am
me.
him.
I got some stuff to show y'all. Keep doubting me. It's kind of like
Yeah,
that.
exactly, dude. It was such a great feeling for me too to see that happen for you and just to see the way your teammates kind of rallied around you. It was an awesome, awesome feeling. But one
Yeah, but
last question here
I'm
before
sorry.
oh
Can I
no,
just add on to that
go
one real
ahead,
quick?
go ahead.
Um, you know how I was actually mic'd up that game, and
That's
so
right, you were.
yeah, I was mic'd up that game, and when I scored the goal, shout out to Ariel. He had a beauty drop pass And I was screaming so loud, if you heard in the mic, I was like, "Hey, back! Give me the puck! Let's go! We're back!" You know. And then he gave it back, and he answered my call, and I answered his because I just took a not so much of a wind up slap shot, but I was like, already open. I was like, just slap it in, and it got. If you see my friend, I think Evan Singer on our team, shout out to Evan for getting that video, the angle from that other side of the ice. So my cameraman, unfortunately, like kind of like tried to get it because he mainly films like basketball and football. So obviously, I was like, not obviously concerned. Like obviously, I love my cameraman, but like it was hard for him. I get it because like hockey is not really used to filming. So obviously when I tried to track it, it was like, oh man. But I totally understand. Like, but Evan for that angle, he gave me that video at the end of the game, and you can see just the smallest corner in the goalie and the net, right, the posts. It just right in that shoulder area, right in that corner, just got it there, and it popped the bottle. Like you said, making a splash.
Making a splash,
I love
baby.
it.
Making a
And
splash.
and a lot of people were like questioning, like, well, first off, I heard the bench going crazy, and you can hear in the mic, like, yeah, everyone go, like, you can hear the whole bench going crazy, and the bench like banging the sticks. It was so electric. It was fun. And I called it when I was on mic. I was like, it's a muffin, though. It was a muffin. The reason why I said it was a muffin was not the goal itself, but the way. Usually, I don't like make comments about like that, but being a muffin, like I usually love my goals. This one I did, but when I like when in the moment when I scored that goal, I was like, it came off my stick pretty slow. I thought the puck like bobbled or something, wobbled. That's all. I thought the puck was pretty slow. But when I took a look at the replay and like the full hockey,
That
and
was a
then
howitzer, bro.
right,
Howitzer.
it was a hard shot, and I didn't really when I felt it. Maybe I was so tired and out of breath because I was trying so hard to score that game because I knew it was my chance, and I finally got it. I know we were up like what 15-3, but and then like 2 minutes in the game, but I still got it, and it just felt really slow. It must have been like really dehydrated or something like that. But and then when I got to the bench, like I think Roofy, was it you who said it was not a muffin?
Yeah,
No, it was
a muffin.
not.
That
It
was
was
me.
not a muffin.
I said it was a muffin though, laughing, and then Roofy's like, it was not a muffin.
Yeah.
Dude, like
No, I
that.
was going crazy.
Dude,
Oh man,
that
I appreciate
placement,
it.
that placement on that shot was perfect. It was beautiful. And that's how we're gonna wrap up this episode with the perfect
Oh,
shot
yeah.
like that. Well,
All
so
right.
with that, Zachary Ruffenach and Bryce K, thank you for joining us on this edition of The Roar. I'm Joshua Gerhart. Find us on YouTube, Hershey Cubs The Roar, as well as at Hershey Cubs on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or Hershey Cubs on Facebook. Hit that like button, subscribe, and or follow us on all accounts. Fear the Roar.